What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and today is day number 24 of my 32 straight days previewing the 32 NFL teams ahead of the 2020 NFL season. I know in last episode I said it was day 22. I've got my days mixed up. What can I say? I'm not perfect. But anywho, if you haven't watched the first 23 episodes, down below in the description will be the link to the full playlist. This episode, I'll be looking at the New York Football Giants, my favorite NFL team. I'm not going to lie, the last few years as a Giants fan have not been great. It's been filled with a lot more losses and wins, a lot more top 10 overall draft picks. And 2019 was no different as the Giants went 4-12, finishing with the 4th overall pick. Could have had the number 2 overall pick had they not won a late season game against the Redskins that ultimately decided who was the last place team in the NFC East. One major difference that will be present in 2020 versus 2019 is Eli Manning. His era as New York's quarterback or as a player in the NFL has come to an end as he retired in the offseason, which means that all eyes will be on Daniel Jones to lead this team to the promised land. I mean, Jones, he was the number 6 overall pick in the 2019 draft, showed signs of being really good last season in limited games because he came in, I believe it was week 3, something like that. Showed signs. There is an issue with him in fumbling, so hopefully he can iron those out. But as a thrower, he's very solid, and as a runner, he's very solid as well. So I think Giants fans should be happy with that. Fortunately for Jones, he also has a nice young core around him. Saquon Barkley, the number 2 overall pick in 2018. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram as receivers. And they also got Golden Tate, who's another wide receiver. Or Evan Ingram's a tight end, but Golden Tate's also a receiver. So some nice pieces there, which looks to grow together as their careers progress. Tate serving as a veteran for this group. The one thing that is concerning, at least on this offense, is the, at best, patchwork offensive line. Nate Solder, a big disappointment since he signed with New York a couple years ago. He's opted out of the 2020 season because of concerns regarding COVID-19. As you may know, Solder has dealt with cancer in the past, so I completely understand it. I think everyone else should. No one should be giving any player, a hard time for opting out for this 2020 season. But fortunately for the Giants, this will give 4th overall pick in the 2020 draft, Andrew Thomas, a lot more experience than he probably would have initially gotten since Solder is out. He will play left tackle. Will Hernandez projects to be an anchor at left guard. So you got 2 young pieces for the future on the left side of your offensive line. And you know what? I'm excited about it. What else it can't get much worse from here. So I think Giants fans, they just got to be patient for what is to come. Let this team build. The one thing I guess, maybe not making me so excited for this season is Joe Judge, their head coach. I mean, Joe Judge has never been a head coach in the NFL before. He was a special teams coach for New England, which doesn't bode well for me in terms of my expectations. And also, given the craziness of this offseason with no training camps, no mini camps, shortened training camp, or no OTAs, no rookie camps, no mini camps, shortened training camps, they're only going to get 14 days of padded practice from what I've heard. It's just really concerning in that regard. So Judge is going to have a lot of scrambling to do to make sure that Jones is ready to go, Barkley's ready to go and healthy, and then on the defensive side of the ball, make sure that everyone's on that side ready to go. Because that was the thing for the Giants in 2011 and 2007 when they won their 2 Super Bowls. Part of the reason was because they had a really solid defense. Now, long gone are the days of Justin Tuck and O.C. Umenyiora and Michael Strahan, among others. But Leonard Williams is one of the top interior linemen in all of football. He gets paired alongside Dalvin Tomlinson and Dexter Lawrence, each who have shown some really good things in their young careers. Blake Martinez and James Bradbury were underrated free agent signings. Martinez at the linebacker position with the Giants have been surely weak at for recent years. And Bradbury to be a cornerback, maybe not a lockdown corner like that of Patrick Peterson or Marshawn Lattimore, or you get my point. But someone who could be a number 1 guy to guard the top wide receiver on the opposing team. And I think he fits really well with this young secondary of Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney. Could have thrown DeAndre Baker in that mix, but he is facing up to 10 years in prison for an armed robbery back in, I think it was May. So not great there. But Will it be easy for Judge to bring this team back to the promised land? No. There's a lot of work left to be done. I don't think the Giants and their fans should expect a playoff appearance, at least for the next 2 years, maybe 3, who knows. But there is, however, a nice young nucleus on both sides of the ball that Giants fans should be excited about for years to come. Looking at the full Giants schedule, which will be down below in the description with my win-loss projections, once again, it's not going to be a year filled with wins and things that people should be excited about. Start off Week 1 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. This will be a nice litmus test to see how the team stacks up, but I ultimately have them losing that game. Week 2 at the Bears. I mean, the Giants got thrashed by the Bears last season, so in Chicago, so I'm not too excited about that one. Week 3 versus San Francisco. That's another loss. I mean, the Niners look to be really, really good. Week 4 at Los Angeles against the Rams. That's my first win projected for the Giants. I just don't trust the Rams that much. I'm not high on them. So, Giants, there you go. You get a bone. Week 5 at Dallas. I have the Giants splitting all of their division matchups this season with the Cowboys, Redskins, and Eagles. So 3-3 in that regard. So here's one loss right there against the Cowboys. It's just, I don't know if Daniel Jones is ready. Like, Eli Manning could go into Dallas regardless of how good his team was and win. I don't know if Daniel Jones is there yet. Week 6 versus the Redskins has to win, in my opinion. A nice win in the middle of the season. Week 7 at Philadelphia. Something about that game, I don't know. Maybe the Eagles get caught looking ahead at an opponent. They just fail to win that one. So the Giants pull one out there. Week 8 versus Tampa Bay, a loss. I mean, Tom Brady in that offense looks to be really good. Week 9 at Washington. This was a tricky one for me. I wanted to give the Giants a sweep of the Redskins, but given how recent years have gone, I'm not too confident. So I think the Giants and Redskins will split their home-and-home matchups. Redskins winning in Week 9. And then Week 10 versus the Eagles after beating them a couple weeks prior. I think the Eagles come back strong, looking to get revenge. They're coming off their bye week of note. The Eagles have their bye week, Week 9. So I think they'll be well rested, and they'll come out strong for that game. So Giants enter their Week 11 bye week with just 3 wins, 3-7 on the year. They have their bye week, Week 11. Then they come out Week 12, take on the Bengals at Cincinnati. I think that's a win. Shouldn't be too much of a concern there. Sure, the Bengals have a sneaky good offense, at least on paper, but that defense is atrocious. So I'm not too concerned about that one. Week 13 at Seattle. I mean, Seattle is one of the best teams in the entire league. Should be no surprise that the Giants lose that one. Week 14 versus Arizona. Another loss. Arizona handled this team well last season when they played against each other, and that was in New York, if I'm not mistaken, like this one once again. So Arizona definitely has that capability. Week 15 versus Cleveland. The return of Odell Beckham Jr. to the Meadowlands to take on the Giants. I mean, the Giants drafted OBJ in 2014, traded him before the 2019 season, and I expect OBJ to have a big-time game regardless of where everything stands. Like, if the Browns are fighting for a playoff spot, I think they'll still just try to force-feed OBJ. And I will be very excited to watch that game because I don't think the Giants should have traded Odell Beckham Jr. That's just me. Week 16 at Baltimore. The Ravens are arguably the best team in the entire AFC. So Lamar Jackson's just going to run all over this defense. And as a Giants fan, I might just turn away, not watch that game, because why watch a game that you know your team's going to lose? Finally, Week 17 versus Dallas. I mean, we've seen crazy things in the past where Dallas needs a win to make the playoffs, and the Giants spoil it for them. I think that will happen once again. And I would love that to happen in New York, closing out the year. The Giants pull out the win against the Cowboys, halting any hopes of making the playoffs this year. Giants go 5-11, so a 1-win improvement, but it'll still be, once again, probably another top 10 draft pick. 5 games I'm most looking forward to in 2020. First, Week 1 versus Steelers. Steelers have a really good offense and defense on paper. This will be a nice litmus test to see where the Giants stack up against one of the top rosters in the NFL. Week 6 against the Redskins and Week 7 versus the Eagles. 2 division games against teams that, like, I can see the Giants going 4-2, 5-1 in their division. I can see them also going 2-4, 1-6. I have them going 3-3, but these are games where the NFC East, they're always up for grabs. They're always competitive. It's never like oh my God, the Eagles are so much better than the Giants, or the Redskins are so much worse than the Cowboys, or whatever it is. It's always a competitive game for the most part. And these 2 games, I expect no different. Week 15 against the Browns, like I mentioned, Odell Beckham Jr. making his return to New York to take on the Giants for the first time since being traded. That's just going to be a fun game to watch, and it sucks that there are no fans there because I think that would have been a really fun atmosphere to watch. Finally, Week 17 against the Cowboys. I mean, like I mentioned, the Giants could play spoiler like I've done so many times to the Cowboys. And once again, NFC East games are always seem to be competitive. So here we go. Maybe there's another one as I shake my table by accident. But let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section. Do the Giants improve from last season? Is Daniel Jones the future quarterback of this team, or will the Giants be searching for a new one very soon? Thank y'all so much for watching. Next episode, we'll be looking across the hall at the Meadowlands at the New York Jets. So until then, have a great day, and thank y'all so much for watching.